welcome to Seen Through Glass. Welcome to the brand new Mercedes G63, or the G-Wagon. I'm here at the launch of the facelifted C63. However, this is day 2, and Mercedes very kindly said that they had a whole load of their cars parked outside and we could go for a drive in any of them. Now, G-Wagon's not really the car that I was going to pick. However, I was forced to do so by someone that, yeah, anyway, here he is. Let's bring him on.
Hello!
It's Shmee150.
Hello, hello, how are you doing?
How you doing, dude? Good. You can do that. I got to start this car up because it is so hot that I am melting. I was melting yesterday when I filmed the C63, and I'm melting today. Now we're in the G63.
It's like a couple of degrees warmer as well.
I was just saying, this is not the car that I was going to pick today.
No,
there are plenty of things here I wanted to go out in, the CLS 53, the GLC 63, which I'm obsessed by, but you were like, no.
You have to drive this again.
G-Wagon.
You have to experience it. And the first thing is your cooled seat. Yes,
cooled seat.
Ventilated seats. That's nice.
What temperature is it? Where is it? Oh, 26 actually. It's
only 26.
Yeah, 26.
It feels a lot more than 26.
10 a.m. in the morning.
Boiling today.
Why are we in this?
So, G63, you've driven the old one.
I have driven the old one. I didn't have a fantastic experience, if I'm honest.
Let's be brutal here. It's a bit floaty and wishy-washy.
Yeah, it wasn't
great. Steering is not the most connected thing in the world.
It was like driving a cardboard box with wheels.
Yes.
Yes.
You turn, and about 5 seconds later, the car might decide to do that turn. So you can't really push it or drive it dynamically. Well, this car is completely different. Honestly, it's completely built up. I mean, okay, look at where you're sitting, right?
I admit the interior environment is lovely and these huge screens are great. The interior is a step forward and there are small exterior tweaks that I've noticed that I've gone, okay, great. But to me, it still looks like a brick.
But that's what it's supposed to be. It's rugged, iconic G-Wagon. You know,
right, okay.
That's what the G-Wagon's always been for decades. But the new
love
generation,
this car so much. I mean, literally.
Honestly, until I drove this G63, this exact car actually, this is the one that I drove at the press launch a few months ago, and I didn't go into that drive expecting to love it. Okay, but honestly, you did. And it took me by complete surprise by how it's set up, the new suspension, the use of this V8 engine, the gearbox, the feel of the interior materials. I mean, this is the first edition, so it's like loaded to the nines with every option you can have on it. But I mean, as you're going to experience when we go out of here, it will surprise you in the way it drives, and that's what I love about it. Well, let's find out if that is the case, because enough chat, let's hit the road. Hi-ho, Silver! Away! Oh, yeah. We're going through a corner, Tim. It's all good, isn't it? Well, we didn't roll over. I mean, that's impressed me to begin with. But yes, I mean, a lot of my viewers will know that I'm a big SUV fan. I love the SUVs. You're Range Rovers. I'm a bit of a Range Rover fanboy, yes. But I like everything. I enjoyed the Maserati Levante. I actually like the Bentayga. Yeah. There's a lot of SUVs that I like. But this particular car, the G-Wagon, the G63, has never appealed to me because it's, to me, just about show. You know, it's just about cruising, being a bit of a baller, something I'm not familiar with. Is this because you mostly see them driving around the streets of Knightsbridge? Yes. So, what you have to remember is that this thing is built primarily, unlike most SUVs, as an off-roader. This car has like a 70 centimetre wading depth. It has ridiculous angles of incline and ascent, or whatever you call it, at the back, where it can, you know, clear ridiculous rocks and things. And as we go out on the main road, you're probably going to put your foot down, aren't you? Yeah, expected that. Okay, that is fun. And I only did that because in Tim's video, which we just filmed, he did the exact same thing and I was pretty blown away. So I thought I had to give it a go from the driver's seat as well. It's really torquey, 850 Newton meters. But going back to the SUV thing, it's a crossover off-roader with luxury SUV. Okay. Because this is a car for the dunes. This is a car for off-road trails. I mean, it's not really a car for the road. But it's not really a car for the road, but like so many SUVs these days, how many of them are actually taken off-road? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like all of them are just, you know, for the school run. And it's one of the most ultimate school run mobiles. And I would put this in the upper echelon of like super desirable SUVs with the Bentayga, with the Urus. Probably a step above, I don't know, what's the GL63? What's like a standard SUV from Merc?
GLC, GLE.
Yeah, GLE, that's the one I'm thinking of. It's a step above because it is got such an iconic look and history and feel.
There aren't many cars that have a heritage like G-Wagon. Now, it's like 911s, G-Wagons, maybe Minis. Maybe that's a stretch. Not much has retained over such a long lifespan.
This is particularly retained. I mean, there were very subtle updates to this car.
At the original launch, they put one of these alongside a car from the 70s, I think it was.
They look the same.
And they look really similar.
Yeah, that is the problem. And I mean, I think you could probably buy the old one and just facelift it to look like this one relatively
But then
simply.
it wouldn't drive as well as this.
Why do you like this thing so much? Because, as I say, I just see it as a little bit of a gimmick. I'm agreeing with you. It's nice to drive, nicer to drive than the last one. But
I think it is its own thing. I like it.
that was traction, kidding.
That was traction.
I would have loved traction off at that point. What would have happened? That's when we would have
Four-wheel
rolled.
drift.
Yeah, that's when we would have rolled, yeah.
Probably better we had traction on. What I love about it is that it is so iconic and its own thing. But there's nothing about it that I don't like, really. Anything that, you know, maybe it could be slightly better in the corners, slightly less wallowy, but it's not supposed to be. It's trying to do what it's trying to do, and it does.
It's
exactly
its own thing. It's its own thing, and you know.
If you think of a supercar, right?
Yeah.
Let's say your McLaren 540C when you owned it.
Sure.
Okay? So what that car is built to do is go around a racetrack really fast.
Agreed.
How many times did you drive it around a racetrack?
0
really
times.
Fast? Exactly. So this car is built to go on the gnarliest of off-road, and it does it incredibly well. You don't necessarily need to ever do it. But no,
Well, I think we have to then. If that's what it's built for, let's go and find an off-road track. There's a field. We're exploring. It's happening. Maybe I should come out of Sport Plus.
I actually drove it off-road in Sport.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
we
in
found like
Sport.
a rally track. And we're this is where you play with the locking diffs, but I don't know too much. Although this is I think we can call this mild.
I would just call this
soft road.
Yeah, it's just a dirt. Well, not even a dirt track. It's just a pebbly track. But it feels like, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
How the clock of the locks. But yeah, we're just trying to push this G-Wagon by taking it through a grassy track.
But you wouldn't be bringing, well, not your AMG GTR up here. That's
No,
for sure.
yeah, that is for sure. But I mean, it's just hilarious, isn't it? This thing. Here we go.
Oh, this is
there we go.
perfect G-Wagon
You ready?
material.
Let's be
Got a nice
rugged.
little dip.
Whoa.
Do you feel like you're going hardcore off-road?
Oh yes, and we still look cool, Tim. We still look cool. I would still lean towards Range Rover Sport SVR.
Okay.
Because I think you get performance. I prefer the looks and the feel. It's a bit more subtle, dare I say. I mean, Range Rovers aren't subtle, but this is really in your face at any point.
Yeah, especially if you have it in satin platinum.
Satin, but with red details and in Sport Plus consistently.
Banging away.
It's great fun, and it's super unique and super cool, and I kind of understand why you want one so much. It still surprises me that you want one, and if you guys want to hear all the reasoning behind why Tim has fallen in love with this car, go over and check out his video. But it's still not me, even with all the improvements, and I can see the improvements and feel them. It's still not a very me car, personally.
No, you haven't been sold.
I haven't been sold, but whilst the C63, freaking that thing blew my mind. It's still an iconic car that I understand why people want them and why people have them in their garage, and I know loads of you lust after them, but yeah, it doesn't tick the boxes for me. I think, as I said already, I would have a Range Rover Sport SVR or even the Range Rover Autobiography, the big one. I don't know, I would have other SUVs. Maybe I need to check out the GLC 63 because I've heard great things about that, and that is the car that I wanted to drive today, but we've run out of time. Our taxi to the airport comes in 5 minutes. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you want to hear why Tim is so in love with this thing, why he's thinking about buying one, head over to his channel because we did film a video before I filmed this one, so you can check that out. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and make sure you're subscribed for plenty more videos to come.